Hello, hockey fans! Welcome back into the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, the 10th anniversary edition. Adam Karnick here with you. Zach Puplis will be along with us in just a moment. Lots to be going through here tonight. Of course, we've still got the second round in action. We thought that there might be some quick hooks going on, but then these teams have decided they want to be more resilient. We'll be breaking down all four series yet still in action. Might we see an elimination tonight? We'll let you know. And then it's the 10th anniversary of IE Sports Radio this week. We'll have some fun looking back at some hockey memories and maybe coming up with some lists to commemorate the occasion. 10 years of IE Sports Radio, nearly 10 years of the Neutral Zone here on the station. Lots of fun. Buckling on up, everybody. Let's go. And hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach along with you here tonight. Zach, how are you doing, good sir? Oh, you muted yourself and you took away the controls from me, so you have to be the one to push the button.
My bad. I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm hanging in there tonight. We're making things work. So
good.
The second round is still going on. We haven't had anybody get eliminated yet. What's the deal there?
I know. Well, we were expecting New York to close them out about Friday, Saturday night, thereabouts.
Yeah, we genuinely expected that we were going to go on the air tonight and be talking about how the Rangers had already eliminated Carolina, the way that series started. So yeah, we were kind of having to then recalculate and regroup here right at the start of the show. And it's, wait a minute, we're going to see 6 games. They have to go back to Carolina. So yeah, lots going on there.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Not so fast, my friend. And then, of course, Boston is holding on for dear life against Florida tonight as well. So we'll be breaking into all those things and dissecting and diving into a little bit. But before, of course, we get any further, of course, we do want to handle some business. This show is, of course, available for you on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call the machine these days, at IESR Neutral Zone. You can also find both of us. Zach is at the Puplis. I am at Adam_Karnick. So we've got all that going on for you there as well. And we do want to acknowledge our sponsors here as well at IE Sports Radio. And we've actually got some messages from them. So we'll play those real quick, and then we will dive into the hockey action going on tonight, as where we so often start the show. IE Sports Radio fans, This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
And welcome back into the program. Of course, you can find both of those sponsors on Instagram. You find Seal the Deal Wax Seals at Seal the Deal_wax stamps on Instagram, or you can also find them on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals, or Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. You find them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. And we told you where to find the show already. But if you are listening and watching live here tonight on the IE Sports Radio YouTube channel, or also we have this up on the IE Sports Radio Facebook page and on the Twitter page as well. I don't think we're on Instagram live tonight, but we have been in the past. Hop on into the chat room, have some fun there. Larry is here. He is all kinds of excited for the 10 years of IE Sports Radio. He is all kinds of fun there. And also Jen B is here, hoping we have a great show. Loving your reference in the drop there. The zone. we tried to have some fun when we made that. So, you know, we don't try to take ourselves too seriously here on the show. So I am curious about this one though. Larry putting into the chat, I have to be Dirty Harry. I gotta have some, do I sound like Clint Eastwood? I certainly don't look like Clint Eastwood. I know that, but I don't know, Larry, I'm going to need some clarification there on me being Dirty Harry, but so we got, go ahead.
On Jen's comment about the drop, you know, we've been talking that we were going to have to go to the Arizona Coyotes part, but I just love it too much. I don't want to.
I know we're going to have to figure out something there where, you know, damn it, Bettman, you had to go and mess with, you had a perfectly good thing going and then you had to go and mess with it. I don't get it. So I just don't understand it. Well, Zach, let's start tonight where we often do with the show. The game that is currently going on. We have, of course, one game going on right now, and then one that's going to be starting in here just a little bit. And then let's dive into, I want to kind of take a look at each of the matchups kind of individually tonight a little bit here.
For sure.
So let's start with that wonderful Boston, Florida matchup.
Boston and Florida. Boston leads it 2-1 currently. 13 some minutes left in the third, but Florida leads the series 3-1. So Boston's trying to stave off elimination. They're doing a good job of it so far tonight. Boston's got 25 shots on goal. Florida has 22. Yeah, I think Swayman's definitely going to be key to this if they want to stave off elimination tonight.
I'll let you see Jen's comment here. Makes her giggle every time she hears the drop. And the Utah Hockey Club just doesn't quite have the same ring to Jen. And we'll get into that. We could get into that a little bit. They did release in Utah. They did release the list of 20 names that they're considering. The Yeti is on the list.
Okay.
I don't need to see the other 19 names. That is the name, right? It's just Utah Yeti. What are you waiting for? Do that. Right.
Well, that article I was reading talked about how they want to be the winter sports capital of the world, and you can't do that without hockey. It makes sense.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit later, though. But let's talk about this Boston, Florida series that we have going on right now. Boston is on the brink of elimination. Now, you know how I feel about Boston. I don't trust them any further than I can throw them, and I can't throw worth a hill of beans. So we've got that. At the same time, has there been anything in this series that has surprised you in this rematch from the first round a season ago?
After Boston having the historic season that they did last year, and then falling flat on their face in the playoffs and losing Game 7 and all that to Florida, I thought they'd come into the series more motivated for sure. And they're down 3-1. So
they give Boston credit. Boston did come out with fire and energy in the first game, taking the first game 5-1. And there was some definite fire and passion and things there, but it turned on its head so fast. You drop game 2, 6-1. Then you drop game 3, 6-2. You're being quadrupled up at that point. You've been you're outscored 12-4 in those two losses, to where there was genuine question over who was going to start in net for the Bruins heading into game 4.
Yeah.
Well, now they're playing with the hair on fire tonight because they got no choice. But
yeah, those two games, the first game and second game, could not have been more different. It was complete night and day that they were blowing Florida out of the water, and the next game, Florida's blowing them out of the water 2 games in a row. And
we see how far Larry trusts Boston, by the way. A hill of beans,
right?
And I can't blame him. Boston. I'm the fool that picked Toronto to win in the first round. So sure. That's what I think about. That's what I think about Boston there. So I'm not surprised by this. I'm also not surprised Boston goes on the power play here with 12 and a half minutes left to go.
Yeah.
In regulation. I'm not surprised to see them winning this one because they're fighting for their lives. Good evening, Marcus Los. Great, sir. Welcome on into the show. But yeah, there's nothing in this one overall that really surprises me. That's not to say there haven't been surprises though. Well, staying in the East. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just real quick. So the way things went in the first round, look at the New York Rangers sweeping and the Carolina Hurricanes sweeping, or almost, what is it, 4 games or 5 games, I guess. So the weak teams have been all eliminated, it seems like, this point, and you've got strength on strength, and everybody's really good in the NHL. So it's really showing that it's how hard it is to sweep somebody when it gets to the second round.
Oh, yeah. I mean, go figure. You get into the second round of the playoffs and, oh, look, the bad teams are all gone. You no longer have the Washington Capitals. We're not sure how they got here in the first place.
Right.
We're not sure how they got there in the first place, but by golly, they didn't stay, they didn't stay long. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
but we say that I'm looking at my bracket here and I'm like, hang on. So if the Panthers could close it out tonight, and Dallas could close it out tomorrow, Canucks could have a commanding lead by the end of the night. So maybe not. I mean, 3 of the 4 games looks like they could close out early. They wouldn't at least not have to go to 7. But Rangers and Hurricanes is still close, at least 3-2.
Yeah, well, let's dive into that. Let's dive into that Rangers Carolina series and for a little bit, because this one, I mean, when we talked about it at first, if I remember right from last week, and if somebody remembers otherwise, feel free to fact check me. Go ahead and throw it into the comments or hit me up on X. But I felt that this was going to be a longer series at first. And then the series started, and oh my God, the Rangers just wouldn't lose.
Yeah. Especially that overtime game.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, true.
Game 2 and game 3 both go to overtime, and you get this feeling that it's first of all, it's on the one hand, Carolina is doing better than down 3-0 would indicate, but on the flip side, you've also all of a sudden got this feeling of inevitability where how do you stop New York? How do you overcome them? Shesterkin has been so good in the series as a whole.
Yeah.
To the point where, I mean, we genuinely thought we'd be talking about a wrapped series tonight.
We did, yeah. Well, and also their offensive players, Panarin, Zibanejad, both of them have had multiple goal nights.
Zibanejad, yeah, and they're getting it from all 4 lines. And then, all right, Carolina takes game 4. All right, they finally the power play comes through for Carolina after, what was it, 1 for 18 or 0 for 18 in the series through the first almost 4 complete games. They finally get a power play goal at the tail end of game 4
Brutal.
to take that one. And it's all right. Okay. Carolina, they avoid getting swept. Then they go into Madison Square Garden yesterday, and there was a completely different Carolina team. They just absolutely hammered the Rangers yesterday. And it's, I mean, you look at it and it's like, where has that team been all season? So it's almost like, what's real here. And it's 4 goals all in the third period. You're heading into the second period, or you're heading into the final period, and you're thinking, okay, you're down 1-0. It would have been, and you're down 1-0, and it's not only you're down 1-0, you gave up a shorthanded goal. So again, your power play is failing you in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
And then they just blast off 4 unanswered goals in the third period. Okay, one's an empty netter. Okay, fine. Take that with a grain of salt. But was this real from Carolina? What we saw yesterday in the third period, was that real, or was that some kind of mirage, and now game 6 is going to be the return to normality?
Well, I almost feel like their terrible time on the power play, as soon as that ended, it kind of lifted the curse on them, and now they're back to normal, playing free, playing loose. just giving it their true, getting back to their true form. And all these other games, they were losing the series 3-0, but every single game was close. It's not like any of them were a blowout. In reality, that series could be 2-1 or 3-0 the other way even.
Yeah. The power play woes are still there for Carolina. I mean, yes, they finally got the one in game 4, but then they went 0-3 yesterday. And worse than that, the lone goal they gave up was while Carolina was on a power play. It was a shorthanded goal for New York. So it's just, for me, I'm confused, but I'm very confused by Carolina. On the one hand, I absolutely hear you, and I don't disagree that this series could be the other way. They haven't all been blow. I mean, yesterday was the first blowout. It was the first. I'm going to double check here as I look at the scores. Oh no, I hope my phone doesn't blow up. I almost accidentally started playing the highlight reel. But as I look at, that was the first game that was decided by more than one goal. All the first 4 games were all 1 goal each. New York was up 3-1, but was only up 2 goals in the entire series. Now Carolina's actually ahead as far as the goal scoring is concerned. They're down 3-2, but they've actually outscored New York in the series by a goal. So this one confuses me. I'm not sure what to make.
Jekyll and Hyde a little bit.
Jekyll and Hyde, yeah, very Jekyll and Hyde a little bit, and just it was funny in game 3. There was a lot of talk going on in the TNT studios. They were talking about how Carolina needed to change their style, how they needed to how they needed to kind of change things up and be willing to play defense. And yes, it's more fun to play offense, but you need to be willing to play defense too, and some other things. And I got very confused. It's like, wait a minute, with their season on the line, you want them to change their identity? That just to me feels so weird, but but at the same time, they're kind of pulling their way through a little bit in this series. So I'm very confused by it overall.
No, I'm right there with you.
So what do we expect from game 6 in that one tomorrow?
Oh man.
I'm sorry. Game 6. It's not tomorrow for whatever reason. They didn't put it because of Madison Square Garden or because of stadium arrangements. It's Thursday. Excuse me. Game 6 is Thursday.
Okay. I think the Rangers are going to get back to form and probably close them out and just say, well, thanks for making it a series, but time for the big boys to step in and put the kibosh on this.
Yeah. I can't say I disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with anything you say there. And Shesterkin and Freddie Anderson's a good goalie, but Shesterkin's just better. And a lot of times that's what makes the difference in these things. I think you're right. I think Rangers. I can't disagree with that. I'll say Rangers take it as well.
Sure. They're like, just tell themselves, okay, we're playing with fire here. We need to stop it.
All right, now do we want to go with the game that's going to be later tonight, or do we want to go with the series that's going to be playing tomorrow? Where do you want to go next here as we switch over to the Western Conference for a second?
Yeah, let's go to the game tonight.
Tonight? All right, so dropping the puck here soon. I mean, it's in hockey time. As long as it starts here within the next 30 minutes, they're on time.
9:52-ish.
Yeah, 9:52-ish. 9:30 is official start time, but that means so long as they drop the puck by 10, they're on time.
Yeah.
Canucks and Oilers. What the hell is Vancouver doing leading in this series?
I know, right? House money, baby. House money.
Is it really that simple? Do you think it's really that simple?
So
I mean, I know you're in the casino business, so I yield to you on this.
That's the only thing I can think of is that they had this wonderful season and they're having too much fun. They don't want it to end. I mean, I would have thought Edmonton was going to be up already too. Not that they would have won it necessarily, because our trust meter on Edmonton is a little wonky as well.
I trust Edmonton right up until you get to the goalie, and then I just look at Skinner and it's like, oh God, never mind.
Right.
There's a reason they put up that the Oilers score 7. It's because they know they need every last one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Vancouver's just, they found their stride this year, and they came out of nowhere, and they were the surprise team of the year, the Cinderella, if you will. And they're just not done having fun yet.
I guess it's that simple. And this is another one where, I mean, every single one of these games has been neck and neck, wire to wire. Edmonton is up 2-1 and has outscored Edmonton by a goal. That's all it is.
4-3, 3-2, 4-3, 3-4.
Yeah, we had game 1 was 5-4 Vancouver. Game 2 was 4-3 Edmonton, and then game 3 was 4-3 Vancouver.
Yep.
Literally every single one of them was a one goal game.
Yeah. I mean, your props go to McDavid and Draisaitl on one side, and then Besser on the other side. He's gotten like at least 1 or 2 multi-goal games. And
just the way they've been able to come out in every game. I mean, like take game 3 as a perfect example. They just came out in Vancouver. It didn't matter that they were in Edmonton. They just came out and took the game by the throat right out of the gate. 3 goals to start the game. At Lindholm and Boozer just bam, 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 all scoring goals. The next thing you know, it's 3-1 at the end of the first period, and Edmonton's now got to play from behind the whole game.
Yeah. Well, does it have anything to do with the fact that one is Rogers Place and one is Rogers Arena? They just think they're playing at home.
Maybe you might be on to something there.
The guy on NHL Network Radio today, he had the same thing. He said almost called it Rogers Center, and I'm like, no, that's the baseball one. That's the third stadium called Rogers, whatever. Like, really, guys? You can't come up with any other sponsors? Really?
Tim Hortons is busy.
Yeah, call it the Timmy Ho Stadium. I mean,
it's the only coffee my wife wants to drink anymore is Tim Hortons.
Right. Too bad. Where's the closest one? South Bend?
Grand Rapids, I think.
Oh gosh.
But and the other thing, getting back to this as we digress. Save ourselves from going off on a deep tangent there. The play in net is just Vancouver. Silovs.
Artem Silos, is that his name?
Yeah, and the way he played in game 3, I mean, he made 21 saves on 22 shots in the third period alone in game 3.
Wow.
He made 42 saves in game 3.
That's insane.
That's just bonkers. And like anything in hockey, when you're in the playoffs, goalie will travel. A hot goalie will carry you a long, long, long way. And you combine that with a young roster, like you said, that probably just doesn't know any better, but just is doesn't know enough to be intimidated by going up against the guys over there for Edmonton.
Yeah.
And they're up 2-1.
Right.
And it just, I continue to just, what is Vancouver doing? So as they get ready to drop the puck here in the next 15-ish minutes, hockey time, how that all works.
Right.
What are you expecting tonight? We're game 4. We're still in Edmonton. So we're still in Edmonton's Rogers
Rogers Center.
Center. Yeah, we're in Rogers Center. What are you expecting in that game tonight?
Another close one. I'm guessing 3-2 in overtime.
Oh, you think we had to extras tonight?
I think all of them have been close, and I want some extra hockey tonight. Why not?
Sure, why not? Why not? Hey, I got no problem with that. I don't disagree. I don't dislike the idea. I do believe that's the only series I think right now that hasn't had overtime at some point. As I go back to Florida, never mind. Florida, Boston hasn't had extra time. When you're winning every game by 5 goals.
Yeah,
you're not having extra time in that one.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Well, Vancouver and Edmonton, you said they did or didn't? One of them went to overtime at least, right?
Oh man, now you're gonna make me look. Let me double check. I don't think so. I think all 3 of them were regulation.
I think the 5-4.
No, I'm sorry, you are correct. Game 2 went to overtime.
Is that the 5-4 one?
No, that was the one Edmonton took 4-3.
4-3. Oh, okay, gotcha.
That was, I think that was Draisaitl had the winner, if I remember right. As I'm now pulling everything up and gonna double check my. It was Bouchard, excuse me. Draisaitl had the primary assist. Bouchard had the game winner in that one for Edmonton.
Like I can even tell, I'm probably half awake by the time it finishes.
oh yeah, those ones are definitely his eyes glazed over. Somebody scored. Good. Right. I can go to bed. All right, and then let's head to the last one that's not in action, and they will be the only ones in action tomorrow.
Yep.
Dallas, Colorado.
They get the stage all to themselves tomorrow, and you actually had a good segue. I felt. Have goalie will travel. Ottinger, man, he has just been like impenetrable the last 2 rounds.
He is so good anyway. I say this nearly every week, and every season I have to I get reminded rudely that, oh yeah, the Stars are really good. This shouldn't surprise me, but it always does every year.
Well, and it's a good mixture of old guys and new guys too. I mean, you got Heiskanen, you got Mikko Rantanen, who else? Joe Thornton. Is Pavelski with them too, or is it Thornton?
I'm
mixing up my former Sharks.
Yep. Brett Burns is over in Carolina. I remember that.
Yo, the beard. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the beard is in Carolina.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. Dallas is just such a good, but they easily fly under the radar. They easily fly under the radar every year, but they are so good. And like you said, Ottinger is just so strong.
Playing out of his mind.
making some amazing saves and just playing an excellent brand of hockey. Now, there is a bit of controversy in Colorado as they get ready for this game tomorrow. Oh, yeah. And I'm pulling up my notes, and I want to make sure that I get as much of this right as I can. It came out right before game 4 in the series, and I want to pull it all up and make sure that I'm getting everything right in here. But you know what? I'm just going to pull it up with the Colorado team notes as opposed to trying to find it in the overall league notes. So pardon me for a moment. Talk amongst yourselves here for a second while
So to celebrate the 10th anniversary of IE Sports Radio,
there you go.
Come up with some top 10 lists. So here is my top 10 players of the playoffs so far. The ones who have been seemingly to be doing better, I've added some extra ones in there as well. Everybody else got at least one. The Rangers, Zibanejad and Panarin, McDavid and Draisaitl for Edmonton, Jake Ottinger for Dallas, like we said, impenetrable. Kachuk for Florida, Kuznetsov for Carolina, getting them out of that power play slump. Besser for Vancouver, McKinnon for Colorado, just cause. And because they're down 3-1, so they haven't had many bright spots. So you might as well go with the team captain.
Yes, exactly.
And then you got him for the moral support. And he's, if they're gonna rally, he's the one that's gonna, give the big locker room speech or whatever.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, if Boston's gonna rally and hold off elimination tonight, it's going to be through Swayman. It's going to be through defense.
Absolutely.
Oh, and honorary mention, Stankoven, just because of the name.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Also, he's been doing really well. I think he got a goal the other night.
So yes, some strong play in the playoffs. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll do a little bit more to celebrate the IE Sports Radio 10th anniversary here in just a little bit. But that was a perfect. A perfect little teaser break for me. Thank you, as I was able to gather my notes and gather myself here.
You're welcome.
So the Avalanche found out right before Game 4 that they're going to be without Valeri Nichushkin for not only the rest of this series, he's going to be out at least 6 months.
Jeez, oh Pete.
He was suspended as part of the, and I want to again, I'm making sure that I get all this right. He's been placed into stage 3 of the NHL and NHL Players Association Player Assistance Program. It got announced basically an hour before the puck was dropped on Game 4 over the weekend.
Okay.
There's no further information was given at the time. Obviously, because he was in stage 3, he had previously gone through stages 1 and 2.
Okay.
Nothing is official, of course, but it's likely to be substance abuse related. That it's likely to be that there's a substance addiction that he is battling. What got him into stage 2 last year was there was a woman in his hotel room that passed out, and he was not in a position to help her. And that kind of helped trigger that and move it on. So stage 3 is stage 1 is basically a hey, what can we do to help you? Stage 2 is we need to sit you down for a while, get you some help. Stage 3 then is a suspension of a minimum of 6 months, and then you can look at being reinstated. If he were to make it to stage 4, he'd be out at least a year, and there'd be no guarantee of him being reinstated.
Like, give you time to get your stuff together, basically.
It's kind of a here's your last warning, get your stuff together.
Uh-huh.
So Colorado, as a result, is now for the rest of this series and the rest of the playoffs for however long they are. And let's face it, this came down in May. 6 months is November, so he's minimum going to be missing the start of next season as well. They're going to be without Valeri Nichushkin for a while.
Rough.
And this is a 29-year-old that was very nearly a 30-goal scorer this year. He had 9 goals in 8 games this postseason. That's a valuable part of their offense that they are now without for a while. That they did manage to come back, and the Avs did manage to take game 4, so they're not eliminated yet. They did manage to get through, but that's definitely going to be a situation to keep an eye on, and it's going to make things difficult for them going forward.
Oh, for sure.
And I was thinking we were going to throw to break right now, but I see there's basically 5 seconds left in the Boston, Florida game. And it looks like the Bruins are going to survive. We are not going to have an elimination tonight.
Yeah, it just finished.
So Boston hangs on game 5 in Florida. All right. So we know there's going to be a game 6 then. Let's go back to game 6. Let's go back to our Boston, Florida series for just a moment here. We know there's going to be a game 6. It's going to be in Boston. What do you think?
Whew.
And that will be Friday, time to be decided. But they're now off until Friday night, so they've got extra time to prep for this one. They've got the extra travel day there.
Travel day. Okay, gotcha. Yep, that makes sense. I'm gonna go the same way we did in New York. I think they're okay. Guys, we're playing with fire. We just gotta come out swinging and just put them to bed early.
So whoever gets off to the faster start. You think in that one?
Oh no, I'm thinking the Panthers need to.
Okay. So you're liking Florida to take that one?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to close them out just extra hard.
Sure. I don't know. In the Garden, I'll take Boston to take game 6 in that one. I think we'll see 7. We saw 7 last year.
Okay.
We saw 7 a year ago. Why not do it again?
Right.
Both teams 0 on the power play tonight. Florida 0 for 4 on the power play. Boston just 0 for 3. But 0's on the power play. Very even across the board. 29 shots for Florida, 28 for Boston. Even across the board there. So there will be a game 6. There will be no eliminations tonight. So round 2 is certainly not failing to disappoint. We will give it that.
Getting spicy.
Indeed. All right, we are going to take ourselves a quick little break, and then Zach already talked some about it, but let's celebrate the 10th anniversary of IE Sports Radio a little bit more, shall we? You are listening to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back after this.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide for your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports, because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
Yo, what's going down? This is Spaced Out Sports with your host, J-Man, giving you all Houston sports straight from the source, brought to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. In this show, we're going to talk about everything Houston, through and through, and everything. We're going to talk about the surrounding areas. We're going to talk about local sports, everything in Texas in general, mainly Houston, but we're going to talk about everything in the sports world. I want to hear from y'all. Y'all definitely going to hear from me. We're going to go from anything all over, from football to MMA to everything. Let's have a good show. I'm looking forward to hearing from the city. Y'all make sure y'all just check me out every Wednesday right here at Spaced Out Sports, brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
And Adam Karnick and Zach Puplis back with you here on the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So Zach talked a little bit there. During the show earlier about some of the IE Sports Radio celebration, a little bit of the 10th year anniversary. He had a top 10 list of his top 10 players in the playoffs to this point. I did this a little bit yesterday on Chi-Town Weekly, and I thought I wanted to do that here a little bit. I wanted to kind of look back on 10 years ago. The New York Rangers actually were in the Stanley Cup final 10 years ago this summer. It was their last appearance in the final. So had Larry been talking about the Stanley Cup final on the Defining Moment in June of 2014, which I believe that he did. He covers everything very, very, very extensively and thoroughly on that show. So I am certain that it came up while he was doing the show. Larry said he's going to be broadcasting some of the original air from some of those early shows when he's going to do a celebratory show tomorrow. And I believe some of the original audio is going to be appearing on that broadcast tomorrow. Check IE Sports Radio on all your social media platforms for time and listing on that. But I know that show is airing tomorrow. So I wanted to look back at the 2014 Cup final, since the Rangers might, if they can close the door on Carolina and then obviously make it, one more series past that, they could be appearing in the Stanley Cup final. So I kind of wanted to go back and look at that 2014 Stanley Cup final a little bit. That was the first year of the realigned divisions. I don't know if you remember, it was the realignment and then the new playoff format all came out of a result of that season. So you had
Winnipeg was no longer in the Southwest.
Right.
Southeast.
Right. Exactly. Winnipeg wasn't in the Southeast anymore. Detroit was no longer in the Western Conference, having to, multiple times a year fly out to Anaheim and Los Angeles and things like that.
Vancouver, Edmonton, all that.
Right. All that stuff. Yeah. Or having to play a playoff series at 10 o'clock at night in Detroit because, well, you're in the Western Conference. Deal with it.
Right.
So it was a short series. It was only a 5 game series in the Cup final that year. The Kings, the Los Angeles Kings ultimately took it 4-1 against the Rangers. The Kings were just such a darn good team in that season. That was the best scoring defense in the entire NHL. They did post a shutout in that series. Game 3 was a shutout, 3-0. But for New York, it was their 11th appearance in the Stanley Cup final. And who knows, we might see their 12th later on. But it was their first one since 1994. So they had gone 10 years since the last one.
20 years.
So yeah, 20 years they have made I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, 20 years since the last one. Ooh. So, in 30 years they've made one Cup final. Getting back to regulars now.
Yeah.
But it was a short series, but overall it was, for New York fans, it was good. Hopefully they aspire, I'm sure, for this season to be better. That Kings team was just, oh my gosh, was so good. I talked about it last night on Chi-Town Weekly, how that series, the Blackhawks and the Kings met in the Western Conference final, and it was a 7-game epic. Yeah. And it was there were very little expectations on New York to actually take that series.
Yeah. Well, it was back to back from 12 to 15. It was 12 was Kings, 13 Hawks, 14 Kings, 15 Hawks.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And in the end, you had the Los Angeles Kings. They got their second championship in franchise history, raising the cup. And hey, Larry's a SoCal guy. He's not a Kings guy. He's a Ducks guy. But the cup came home to SoCal.
Yeah, there you go.
So not one of the best series in Stanley Cup Finals history, but the Kings certainly one of the best team, one of the best teams we've seen to win it. That was, still Jonathan Quick was still very much in his prime and in his heyday.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He was amazing in those.
Yes, absolutely. And he has him on occasion still now, but
Oh my gosh. Isn't he a backup for the Rangers these days?
yes, he is a back. You're right. He is a backup for the Rangers. He's Shesterkin's backup.
Well, yeah, that would be wild if they made 10 years later, they made it to the cup again. Only he's on the opposite side now.
And now Quick's not going to be standing in their way. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be. I hadn't even thought of that aspect of it. Yeah.
Irony.
Yep. The opposing goalie is still in it, but at that point he's on your side now.
Right.
You don't have to worry about him. So
nice.
all right. Go for it.
I got a quick top 10 draft picks, a mock draft if you want to hear it.
Please do. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Our boy Macklin Celebrini, center from Boston U, would go to the Sharks at number 1, aka the worst kept secret.
Probably this year, yeah.
Yeah. My boy Artem Levshinov, right defenseman from my Michigan State University, to the Hawks at number 2.
I like that pick.
Right. Ivan Demidov, right winger. I think he's from Sweden or Russia, one of the two, to the Ducks. Caden Lindstrom at number 4, center to the Blue Jackets. He is out of the Western Hockey League. Berkeley Cotton, he's a center. He'd be at number 5 to the Canadiens, also part of the Western Hockey League. Zeev Buium, left defenseman to Arizona, Utah.
It's going to take a long time to get used to that.
Yeah, well, the Utah football team, it reminds me of Washington football team. And the article I was reading said they weren't even going to come up with a name till year 2. I'm like, no, you need a name before you even start.
No, do not play as the Utah Hockey Club for a season. No.
I know,
that's
right?
A terrible. No.
Right? Oh,
God, you can take
Utah Yetis, make a cool Yeti logo, have a footprint as your secondary logo, and you're good.
Don't overthink this. God, you can take the stupid out of Arizona, but you can't take the stupid out of the hockey team.
Well, so far, they kept talking in the article about like the juxtaposition of mismanaged on Arizona's end to smart management on Utah's end, and efficiency versus, lackadaisical, and planning versus non. So hopefully they have their ducks in a row, and we'll give them a good name and just go with what works. And
when the season is over, we need to have a long sit down breakdown of that article that you were sharing with you. That's a fantastic article, and we need to have a long sit down conversation about just everything that went wrong in that decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just weren't. They just were losing faith in Arizona and in their ability to get it done, to get a new stadium, and I'm sure playing at a 5,000 stadium versus a 15,000 seat stadium was cramping their style, cramping their revenue, everything.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so the number 6 on your list there.
Yeah, they had said it was cramping the revenue, and heaven forbid they host the playoffs there. Oh, right.
Gridiron wishing, but you're in a much better place, sir. You're in Japan. Stay there. You're in a much better place. Trust me. You're much better off in the long run. Right. Though, yes, we'll get you hockey. We'll get you hockey one way or another there. We'll get it over to you.
Right. Well, yeah, they were saying, heaven forbid that Arizona hosts the playoffs, let alone a Stanley Cup final matchup in this tiny little mullet arena.
Oh my gosh. Oh
you
yeah. Perish the
imagine?
thought there. Yeah.
Imagine the embarrassment. Like, no.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Ugh.
I digress. Number 7, Zane. Zane Pazika, maybe? Right defenseman to the Senators out of the Ontario Hockey League. Sam Dickinson, a left defensive man to the Kraken, also from the Ontario Hockey League. At 9, you got Ty Iginla. He's a center going to the Flames, Western Hockey League. And lastly, Michael Brandtzig-Nygard, right winger from Sweden to the Devils. Great size, strength, speed, and a shot that can make him a threat on the ice.
I like it. The other thing that I love is we have a month to learn how to properly butcher these names in time for the draft.
Thank God.
It's one of the great things about hockey is we get all these wonderful names that we get to pronounce, like Shesterkin and Nichushkin and Varlamov, Niederreiter, some of our favorite names, all in one lovely
Bufflin.
Bufflin is easy to pronounce, not so easy to spell.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember my first hockey game that had Dustin Bufflin in it, and even in the video game, they pronounced it Byfuglin. And I was sitting there the whole time was, who the hell is Byfuglin?
Oh my gosh.
That's Bufflin.
I blame these days you'd blame Chat GPT.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's the wonderful thing about the draft is we have a month to learn how to properly come close on these names.
Yeah.
We do apologize to all the players in advance. We're trying. We will get it right. Give us time. We will practice. We will get them right.
Yes.
But,
somebody had something in the chat. What'd they say?
Oh, yeah. Taryn's in wishing us a good evening.
Thanks, Taryn.
Hello, Taryn. Good to see you, sir. Sneaking in right at the end. And that actually is the end of our show this evening. As the horn sounds, we made it through. And I think we made it through with minimal, if any, technical errors on my side, which the technical errors are always on me. I will own those readily and warily. I'm practicing. What I put myself in the penalty box for 2 minutes every time I make a mistake. Trust me. So, but I think we got through tonight. And we stayed mostly on hockey, which is also, always a big thing for us. Big thank you and shout out to everybody joining us in the chat room tonight. Gridiron, Taryn Rodriguez, Jen Bryant, Larry B, sir, congratulations. This baby of yours is 10 years old. Without you, sir, we would not have IE Sports Radio. Congratulations there. Shout out again, of course, to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. You find them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. And also Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You find them on Instagram at Seal the Deal _wax stamps or on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Next week, round 2 will be done. We will be down to the final 4 in the NHL. We will recap the way round 2 wrapped up. It's been crazy at this point. Obviously, everybody's going deep in their series at this point. We'll see what effect, if any, that has on the conference finals. The Professional Women's Hockey League is also in their playoffs. I want to dive in and look at them, let you know on everything going on also on the women's side. The international game has been going strong as well. Team Canada just absolutely eviscerating everybody. We'll check in there on the international game as well. All that plus more right here next week. Finally, you guys also for coming and listening, whether this was your first show or whether you've been listening since Zach and I started 3 seasons ago already. Thank you for being here. As always, stay safe, stay out of the penalty box, light the lamp, protect your 5-hole. Zach, what else do we tell them?
Don't protect the board.
Have a good night.